Hello, everybody. The 25th Genius is back with another Webtoon review. Webtoon video. It's not really a review, it's really me talking about something a little different on the same page. So I'm really happy that so many other media platforms are coming out. So we're getting Chinese webtoons, we're getting Korean webtoons, we're getting so many types of different webtoons, and I really like that. Just because it's different styles and different cultures, they're all coming together. And it's really interesting to see how different countries really take on this type of media, whether it be America, Korea, or China, or Japan. Like these different types of comics, it's really interesting to see how they're very different. Now, I'm a big fan of Dongwa. Like I've talked about a few of them, talked about Stray Dogs, Essential School Idol. I think these are really good, interesting webtoons to really check out and to definitely read. I really like Dongwas because they're very detailed and they're very fleshed out. Like it's a book if you're into that type of thing. If you're a brainy nerd like me, you're into that type of thing. So I really am a big fan of Dongwa, and I was really happy that one of the Dongwas called The Daily Life of the Immortal King actually got an animated adaptation, which I'm pretty sure is in China. So I was on YouTube and I was watching it, and basically I want to talk about this anime or Chinese anime, but also I want to talk about the difference between Dongua and Mangua, if I can. So with that being said, let's get started. So there's a reason why I want to talk about this particular series. So it's called The Daily Life of the Immortal King. What is it about? Let me start off there. So you have you have the coldest, blankest main character that you would ever want to meet, right? His powers are unexplained. He just came out the womb a genius for some reason, and he continuously to get stronger and stronger. So basically, his power is so strong that people have been spending years to try to contain his abilities. He far excels everyone that he meets in his class just because he's that overpowered. Also, he is so intelligent that as a baby he was able to walk. As a baby, he understood basically half the world, which people even to this day wouldn't understand. And so basically, he's basically overpowered with not a care in the world, but he still has to deal with high school because he's at that age in which high school matters. So it's basically about his life in high school. How do I feel about this Chinese anime? It's okay. Okay, look, it's just not good enough. Like, I remember when I was reading a review on an anime called Bloody Wars, okay? You don't need to know what this anime is about, but it was a Chinese animation. And one of the reviewers said, and I quote, "Chinese animation is just not ready to compete with Japan's animation." This is true. If the Daily Life of the Immortal King really taught me one thing, it's just that China is just not ready to compete with Japan. Japan in animation far exceeds China by a freaking long shot, and this show really proved it to me. The sad part about this show is that it's actually a really cool show, just things just don't make sense. Like even translating it, things just don't make sense. Like his power don't make sense, the whole power scheme. Like when you have a show about spiritual power, there needs to be like a detail, or there needs to be some explanation. And I really feel like the anime adaptation of this just did not do it very well enough. You're quite lost when you're like reviewing, when you're actually watching this show, because you really don't understand what is really going on. All you just know is that the main character just tries to seem cool. And that's another thing too, where the main character actually, his attitude is really cool, but it's the way the animation and the show does it to where it looks so weird. Like that's really how I feel about the show. The show is just weird, and the show is weird not because of the plot itself. It's just weird because of how the animators did the show. And it's not a reflection on the Dongwa. I think the Dongwa is actually really good. I've read a couple of chapters of it. I think it's actually a really good Dongwa. However, it just showed to me that China is just not ready to compete with Japan. Japan is just the superior top dog when it comes to animation in general. Like you blame or you want to attack anime for having like, oh, the bathing suit episode, or oh, you know, anime character comes, main character steps into a girl when she's changing her clothes. But the way that Japan does it, it makes so much sense and it's very well fleshed out. Where the jokes really in like the Immortal King are just very weird. Like they're weird. It's like it's a combination of it being forced and you not knowing how. It's like you're forcing it while not knowing how to really execute it. That's just how I felt about you know, just the show's jokes, its attempts to be funny, its attempts to be serious. I just feel like it's just not really that good enough. But the sad part is that it's really cool and it's very, very interesting. And I would say watch it for the fact that it is very cool and it's a very interesting show to watch. But in terms of just wasting your time, you probably wouldn't be doing that, honestly. And that's not a reflection on the book or the source material. That's just a really reflection on how it was done. You know, and again, it's just, if you really watch it, it's just forced. It's forced without any execution of how to do it. And like, it's really hard to like really tell you why it just really bothers me. But I guess it really bothers me because it's like your story is inconsistent. Your plot is very inconsistent. Your characters are less than two-dimensional. It's like 1.5 dimensional, and then on top of all of that, like you really don't know where you're going with your show. Again, but like I said, case in point, I just don't think that China is just ready to compete with Japan. Like they do have some success stories. Many countries do. But in terms of being the absolute top king, Japan just really takes it for me. A lot of the weird cliches and the weird tropes of anime, they at least make sense. They at least are easy to follow. They at least are executed very well. Japan has really mastered the emotional, the projection of a character to make it seem real to the viewer. They have mastered that to a T. This show just did not do that. This show is just really just weird. And trust me, I love Asian and I love Asian culture. It's just weird. Like it's cool. That's the best way I can describe it. It's cool, but not groundbreaking. Like cool is the only thing that it gets from me and nothing else. Now, but with that being said, I do think that Dongwa is even slightly better than manga. And to be fair, I think Tower of God is a manga, but I do feel like ultimately that Dongwa is just a little bit better because of the way that things are just fleshed out, the things that are organized. Now, Dongwa of webtoons are really good. Like I was reading a few the other day, and I was reading the isekai one. I just forgot the name of it, and it was really, really cool. And I really like how fleshed out it is and how detailed it is. Like I'm a big fan of really detailed work. But in terms of animation, Japan, they're just not ready. They've mastered the book source material, and they should keep that. They're just not ready. And there's another a Chinese anime adaptation. I don't know what it's called, like the Scarlet Witch or something like that, which I'm definitely going to check out. But from what I've seen of the clips a little bit, it's just a lot of consistency issues that really just affect your show. And as we develop as a country and as we develop as a community of these different webtoons and different types of medias, I do really feel like Chinese Dongwa is really increasing rapidly up and up and up and up and up, even over the Korean manga. Now, I do like the palette of Korean mangas just a little bit better, just because I do feel like they take a little more extra care with the work that they do. And again, they seem to follow Japan's style, so it really resonates with me because I'm a big fan of Japanese manga, just Japan in general. But what's my point of this video? If you watch The Daily Life of the Immortal King, it's not a bad show. This whole review is not saying that it's a bad show. It's just not ready to compete with Japan. That's all I'm saying. It's just not there. It's too many really small consistency issues that a single show, any show in anime could just top it. So just be careful with that. Now, again, I would read the book. The book is amazing. But just the show, and it really makes me sad that such a really cool show with a lot of premise and a lot of show just got shafted, just got done bad. Like, it's so cool, but then you just realize who did it. It's just like, dang, what can you do? So again, I can't wait to see what more donghwas get adapted. It makes me want to read donghwas even more and more and more. So again, with that being said, let's start reading some comics. And with that being said, that is the end of my review. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is very helpful as you're picking out shows and stuff to read. If you like this video, make sure you leave a like and a subscribe, but also importantly, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to your content creators because it helps them out a lot. That being said, I thank you so much for all the support that you give me. I'll see you next time.